Very good afternoon to all respected participants. Resource person Dr. Arvind sir has joined our cloud meeting. So, on behalf of Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar, Marathwada University, uh, UGC Malviya Mission Teachers Training Program, I welcome him to this session. Dr. Arvind Ranade sir is Director, National Innovation Foundation of India. So it is really a prestigious issue for a moment for us that he has spared his valuable time to have an interaction with all the participants. So again, I welcome him on behalf of Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar, Marathwada University, Chhatrapati Sambhajinagar, Maharashtra. And I now hand over the session to Dr. Arvind sir.
Good afternoon, everyone. Am I audible to all of you?
Yes, sir, you're audible. You're audible.
Thank you. So, Assistant Director, sir, all the members of this training program, I hope all of you are able to hear me. And as I could see the letter which mentions about the new education policy orientation and sensitization, I think listening to me for next 90 minutes is going to be a little tough job, especially after the having a good lunch. So I have to ensure that we all are awake and listening and discussing about various issues which are so important, especially when we look at the new education policy which is in place. And across the country, the right from the school level to the higher education institutions, everybody is very kind of concerned for the issues which are of prime importance for all of us. So it becomes important for all to really speak about the important aspect of new education policy. And this particular new policy has a lot of, I would say, the scope as well as the challenges. At one point of time, one can say that there are a lot of challenges, especially in the given framework. What we are looking forward with this new education policy to have a diversification, trying to ensure that when the higher education is been considered as one of the important and I would say the a particular age of the students where the students are really trying to come to these institutions when they look forward not only for the employment but to enrich the knowledge, contribute to the society, especially in the context of human resources, in the context of the expertise, in the context of being part and parcel of the various ecosystem in the place. So there are a lot of expectation by children or by, I would say, the students when they come to the higher education institution. The present education system, there are a lot of things which we, over the period, it has is that the present education system do have certain amount of, strength, but at the same time, there are a lot of as we progress, especially in the context of the science and technology at the national and the international level, there are a lot of things that we really need to look forward to equip ourselves in terms of the ITC when it comes to the information technology communication. It also becomes important when the vastness of the world, when we look forward to have a various challenges when in terms of the artificial intelligence, in terms of the machine learning, in terms of the various other technological advancement, and obviously it becomes an important aspect, especially when we deal with such a high-end technologies at one point of time. At the same time, when the country like us, which has got huge amount of, number one is a population, but at the same time, the amount of resources that we have with us, looking at the locations and the say, the institutions, wherein every institution may not be well equipped with the required infrastructure, required kind of an resources in terms of the laboratory, in terms of the gadgets, or in terms of the high-end machines. But this new education policy framework, which is in front of us, really give us an opportunity to strengthen the network by what we have with us and what we do not have with us. In a way, what we do have, it's going to be extended to the all neighboring institutions, neighboring kind of an organizations where this particular new generations are going to get knowledge, going to get the idea about the work, enhancing their abilities to go ahead. At the same time, there are institutions which do have a lot of resources, but sharing the resources also comes with a certain amount of prices. Where it comes to the economy, it comes to the the intellectual capacity and abilities of those institutions in terms of the expertise available in the institutions, expertise being hired by the institution. So all such important aspect becomes part and parcel of the new education policy. So I think what I'm trying to focus and emphasize in the next certain amount of time is to especially give you the certain amount of ideas based on my 20 years of work in the in the ecosystem of science, technology, innovation, and R&D institutions across the country. Last 20 years, I have been part and parcel of the various committees, various programs, wherein such kind of challenges have been discussed to a long extent and have been good examples of sharing the resources with the variety of kind of challenges at their places. And at the same time, when we look at the higher education institution, it also becomes important to realize that though institutions are being set up in the large number, but every institution does not have every expertise that to handle such kind of resources. So it becomes important for all of us to realize the strength and the weakness. At the same time, it also becomes important for sharing of resources and sharing of the knowledge based on the important area of discussion. And the given context, what we learn or what we have been part and parcel of the present education system is largely been compartmentalized. When, for example, even today, to a large extent, if somebody who is from the physical sciences goes to the biological question come whether the person really understands the work being carried out in those such laboratories or anything that is being discussed at the larger context. So certainly the question mark comes to in the minds of the people saying that you are nothing to do with the subject. You hardly have got an interactions about this because we ourselves have compartmentalized the whole system to an extent where we ourselves have started doubting on our own kind of people because the way that the whole education system in place has not given us the wide enough amount of scope to have a multidisciplinary approach. However, in the recent kind of a time, it has been considered that multidisciplinary approach becomes important, and then at the same time, multi-dimensional aspect of learning and teaching pedagogy also becomes important. But it has not been really been have brought into the practicality. But however, in the looking at the 21st century's challenges that we are having, to some extent, we have started realizing, and we have also started, exchanging the ideas about having a multidisciplinary approach, allowing the people to interact with the non-subject oriented, fraternity, allowing them to accommodate their ideas, accommodate their views, and change the system as required, as and when it comes to the discussion aspect. Now, I mean, today I'm representing in one of the institution which is called the National Innovation Foundation, which is an autonomous institution of the Department of Science and Technology, Government of India. In altogether, the kind of approach that National Innovation Foundation has taken up, we do consider because when it comes to the application of the science, when it comes to the application of technology, then we actually can't really segregate a certain amount of issues, somewhat certain amount of work to an extent. So what we realize, what we have been working together in the institution is to have the STEM education in place, because the kind of work that we have been doing, wherein the science, technology, engineering, mathematics, everything comes together. And based on those understandings, STEAM is something that we have been largely been not only conceptualized, but we have been practically trying to make use of the STEM. And when we look at the user or the last person in the queue, then it becomes also important for us to understand and realize that our institution has been working last, I would say, more than 20 years now, or more precisely 25 years, that we have realized and understood the strength as well as the importance of this innovation when it comes to the grassroots, especially the people who are being largely been marginalized, who have always been considered as the consumer of the technology, consumer of the product that we bring out, and then they are the only user for it. But over the period, what has been realized that the consumers, those who have always been considered as marginalized, when they do have a certain amount of technology, some amount of ideas, certain amount of innovation skill, those also need to brought to the streamline and try to give them a scope and the space in this ecosystem wherein their work, their idea, their innovation need to be brought to the streamline, and then giving them a certain amount of scope and recognizing their efforts. So it actually a best example of the application of science, technology, innovation to an extent what actually the NEP is trying to come up with the outcome. So, of course, when it comes to NIF India, we are one of the institutions among the 400 to 500 such institution being established by the government of India under the various ministries and department. So, having been an NIF India is not sufficient to meet the needs of the country. So, what is important here to understand and realize in the given time, if our education system, especially the institutions, the resource builders, if they come up with the certain amount of necessary techniques, certain amount of sharing of knowledge, sharing of resources, and the ideas, perhaps all the problems that we look into the society, or the solutions that we find in the society can be of use to many, and while it will not limit to a certain area or certain amount of geographical location, but it will be wide enough, it will reach to a larger section. And there are many commonalities or many similarities when we look at the length and breadth of the country, like us, which has got not only the population wise, but even in the geographically also, the area which is more than 4,000 kilometers north south, and almost the same from east to west. So looking at all that is in place, it is very essential for our institutions to know, understand such kind of an institutional framework, especially when the NEP 2020 is going to come and get its place, going to be executed, going to be implemented at the larger scale. So I think what is important for all of you is to get the feel, get the flavor of such institutions and such organizations, wherein as you go ahead with the new NEP policies and framework, and when your institution is going to be part of such larger kind of a structure, it is essential for you all to understand and realize this kind of interlinkages, this kind of an important aspect that are going to be playing a significant role when the certain amount of expertise are being there in the particular institution. At the same time, there is a need of certain amount of work or certain amount of resources to be shared. I think such institutions are going to play a significant role in addition to what the higher education institutions do have. Like for example, I'm going to elaborate on the kind of work that we at the NIF India have been doing. We will definitely try to look into that. We'll definitely try to work on and explain you the whole idea and the scenario. But at the same time, what is here to understand that when the higher education institutions do have certain kind of the resources available, when you share the resources with the others, what are all the sharing benefits that the other institutions get? At the same time, when you are trying to share the human resources as well, how the sharing of resources is going to be the beneficial not only to that particular institutions but the other equal partner in doing the work. And I think this is what the new education policy expect from the higher educations. And the teaching community also need to widen the horizons in the various aspect, because today the expertise or the person of, let us say, the mechanical engineer professor, tomorrow that mechanical engineer professor will also need to have the idea of the social sciences. At the same time, the social sciences expertise or the faculty also need to understand the music point of it. At the same time, it or he or she also needs to know the sports as well as the various other capabilities to an extent, because the way that NEP is trying to look forward and trying to get into the new kind of generations to come up, so that the upcome the comer the people, those who are going to take benefit of this NEP 2020 will have a variety of, I would say, the menu in their hands. They will be in a better situations to realize, understand their own strength, and based on their strength, there is a necessity, there is a need for all of us to provide the resources where the strength or the expertise of that person or that boy or that boy girl can be many-fold, that can be enhanced with certain amount of support from one particular institution. At the same time, the expertise from the other, in terms of the knowledge, in terms of the resources, can accelerate the level of thinking of that person and help the society to progressively consider those geographical location to be ahead of the social context. At the same time, the educational framework will also enhance the quality outcome that we look forward. So I think these are all some important aspects as far as the NEP 2020 is concerned. And as I was going through the document, wherein there is a lot of need for the teaching community also to enhance the capacity in terms of the methodology, in terms of the technique that one has to accustom, has to learn, has to grasp over the period. So at one point of time, the person who has his own expertise of one particular area need necessarily to have a bit of ideas and the inference, wherein that a particular information is going to benefit the end user. At the same time, the teacher-student relation does not remain only as a teacher-student, but it becomes an part and parcel of the system, wherein the exchange of ideas, at the same time, co-worker or co-working facilities have been need to be enhanced, need to be developed a system by which the mutual understanding and the mutual gain becomes beneficiaries to both when it comes to the student-teacher relation. So I think what this particular new framework is trying to look forward, because we have a very large tradition. I mean, India is a country where there is it's a full of traditional knowledge and system in place, and that is where I think Indian knowledge system has been put forward by the UGC as well as the AICT, wherein the traditional knowledge which we already have an enhanced kind of a ecosystem with us, that IKS is not going to be explored to the extent, but also going to help us out to what are all the strength that our IKS has given us and how that IKS can be implemented in the context of making the society very progressive, because it is always advantageous to build the confidence. And I think to a large extent, the confidence of a person comes when we ourselves realize the strength of ourselves. When we say the strength of ourselves, not limits to a single person, but as in society, as in a state, as in a country. So those particular inputs coming from the different directions also become important when we are trying to take those challenges, trying to go ahead. So all the historical as well as the ancient knowledge system is also going to help us to get the feel of what are all the strengths that we have and what are all the practices which have been there, how the amalgamation of all those skills and techniques are going to help and give us specific directions wherein we look forward in the coming days to really become a nation which is resourceful, which is a knowledge-based society, and ultimately have a capacity to lead the society, lead the country to an extent. The kind of knowledge resources, the kind of resources that we have right from the ancient to the modern time are making us confident enough to take the new challenges and being could be an co-worker, or I would say the a better knowledge partner when it comes to lead the nation from all the directions. So I think these are all some of the important features of this new education policy framework that is in place. And especially when we look at the higher education, it all depends on the kind of strata that is in front of you. Sometimes it so happens that in a particular location or in a particular institution, you get a wonderful, kind of a incoming group of students which are best in their framework, what they have come from. But once they have come to you, there is nothing that you have a choice to, because what you have, you need to reshape them based on the knowledge, based on the ideas, based on the kind of I would say the every information that they come up with based on what they have learned in the school, what they have their best in their abilities in terms of the cognitive understanding, in terms of the application point of view, and of course in terms of the what you call it as the curriculum based advantageous work. So once the group comes to you, then you have very limited amount of scope to work with them. So what is the best here is to understand the strength and weaknesses of such group. And depending on the weakness and the strength of the group, it is very easy later on to pursue certain amount of group, pursue certain amount of students based on their strength and based on their weaknesses, so that the weaker section can also be given a sufficient amount of time wherein in the, of course, because everything comes with the timeline, because when they comes to the higher education institutions, they have a very limited time in hand, and within that framework of time, what is the need for the people or the educationists like you all is to better make use of those time as well as the resources, so that the person who has opted for the higher education make use of that to stand himself or herself to an extent to become an independent knowledge society, as at the same time can be of beneficiary in terms of the various other aspects related to the education. So knowing the fact altogether, it becomes important that As an community of practitioner, what I would say is that it is essential for all of you to understand the various schemes, various programs, various institutions, wherein the kind of new framework that is coming is going to be useful for the larger context. As I said, this particular NEP is going to give a very wide spectrum for the students, as well as the a lot of challenges for the teaching community as well. As I just mentioned before, a person of physical, sciences may have to have a bit of ideas or a certain amount of ideas from the biological sciences as well. Vice versa, biological sciences person will also need to have a understanding of the mathematical tools and technique, may not to the extent what generally is going to be required when it comes to the R&D ecosystem in place. One has to go and define the new area of research. May not be up to that level, but sufficient enough to understand, to recognize, as well as to work out the strategical planning, because the kind of students that are going to come out of this NEP, we consider that they are well equipped with the certain amount of strength that is this particular NEP is going to give them. So tomorrow the R&D of the country is also need to be brought to a situation, because I think by and large, most of you must be aware that we are also coming up, the Department of Science and Technology is also coming up with the NRF, which is National Research Foundation, which is going to give us a lot of scope, especially in terms of the R&D ecosystem. We are going to have a single funding agency, which is going to encompass the all variety of the framework, whether you are planning to write a proposal for the life sciences, you are trying to write a proposal for the engineering skill-based projects, or for that matter, even if you are trying to work on the Indian knowledge system. I mean, everything at one place, which is NRF is going to look at. And when it comes to high competency research, then ANRF, which is Anusandhan National Research Foundation, which is also in the place now. And very soon we are going to have the ANRF and NRF in place. So I think what is need at this particular point of time is to understand, I mean, especially all of you need to know what NRF and ANRF is going to give you the idea, how you need to understand this, both the foundations, and how best these foundations can be made use of. So at the moment, everything is in the structural framework building stage. Very soon it will be launched. But when it is going to be launched, it is very essential for all of us to understand perhaps the approach that we are right now taking for R&D is not going to be the same approach as the NRF or ANRF is going to be in place. So what becomes important here is to understand the proposer, who is going to write the proposal, will not limit only to his or her expertise, because the applications are going to be extendable to understand the applicability of the research or the work that you are going to propose for, will really going to change the society, is going to help the society in the better context. So all that is going to be one of the best important part and parcel to understand as and when it comes to the NEP building, as well as the we ourselves getting equipped with all such kind of a scenario in days to come. Because nowadays, looking at the new developments in the AIs, that is artificial intelligence, machine learning, I think what is important for days to come is, in addition to what we already have, we need to go quite ahead. We need to go to an extent to support those systems, support those ideas, and make use of it to the better context. So this is something that we need to realize and understand when it comes to the new framework. So NEP is not going to limit only for the educational purpose, but even to the R&D ecosystem of the country as well. Because when are we going to come up with the NRF or ANRF? The kind of R&Ds that we are going to look forward will not be the same as of today, because it is going to be the need-based society, need-based understanding. And looking into all those aspects, we also need to realize and understand what is going to be helpful for the larger context, making the society more knowledge resources, as well as the in the other aspect of the work that is in hand. So looking into all those higher education institutions, it is very essential that we need to understand the NEP from one aspect as far as the developing the human resources are concerned. At the same time, we need to also equip ourselves to new R&D ecosystem of the country. So what we have today will not remain there for very long. So we need to understand the need of the society. We need to understand the NEP as far as the human development of a human resources are concerned. And ultimately, the outcome that is going to be coming out of this is going to help not only for the higher education institution per se, but it's also going to be useful for the society when it comes to the outcome of the R&D that we are going to put forward through these proposals in days to come. So I think these are all the few initial remarks which I wanted to make and tell you, so that before I could go to the National Innovation Foundation's work that we have been doing in Gandhinagar, and we are trying our level best. So because we also as an R&D institution also, as we are going to come up with the new NEP framework, when the new generations are going to come out of it, our whole ecosystem of R&D will also be going to change to a larger extent, because what we get out of the IITs or ICERs or the NITs will definitely going to change the pattern as we progress ahead. But at the same time, what is important to realize is, in whatever the circumstances that we are trying to look for, ultimate aim is to make use of those systems in place to enhance the quality of life of a common man. At the same time, progressive society that we try to bring out. So I think the institutions and especially the higher education institutions or the R&D institutions, which are perhaps limited only to a certain amount of geographical location in terms of the city, in terms of the states, will have a modifications, will diversify to an extent. An institution sitting in Mumbai or institution sitting in, let us say, the place like Gandhinagar will have a very wide network reaching to the large society, and we will in a days to come, we will always find that the resources being placed at one particular place is being utilized by the last person in the society. So that networking will also be coming up, going to strengthen that. And I think in the whole process, what we need is to channelize, is to become an catalyst in accelerating the whole process. So looking into all this, I think what is going to help you out, perhaps the work that we carry forward in this NIF Foundation, that is National Innovation Foundation, and how we, my own team working here, because we have a very limited resources here. We do have a fabrication laboratory. We do have certain amount of engineering skill in our in-house. We do have a certain amount of people who work in the biological sciences, but the multidisciplinary approach is something that we right the way when the foundation is in the place, we always try to make use of that. And ultimately, the end user for us is a very simple and common man, which hardly falls into the any of our education paradigm. Because when we look at the end user, for us, the end user is not the one who is well equipped with the resources in terms of the knowledge, in terms of the education, in terms of the infrastructure. But in terms of the NIF India, who is the end user? The end user is one who hardly got an exposure to the education system in total. So he hardly got a chance to learn the things in a systematic pattern, in a systematic way, wherein the what we call it is a formal education, or let us say the informal education or a non-formal education. But what is important here, the people or the person who has been the being marginalized has always been considered as a consumer, but he or she has a potential to change the system. And how the change has happened, perhaps some of my examples when I'm going to present the PPT, I will show you a certain amount of such case studies, as well as the innovators or the innovations which has the capacity to change the line of sight, to change the entire the framework, that the way that it has been looked at. So I will be sharing that presentation as well. So I think this is something that I wanted to put forward the points and speak about it, so that we, as we go ahead, as we discuss about it, we will realize how this particular new NEP framework, as it comes to, will also have a large say of these R&D institutions, because these R&D institutions are going to play a very pivotal role, especially in the context of the educational framework, at the same time the R&D framework of the country. So I think this bridging the gap, I would say, the bridging the gap, connecting the dots and missing links are something that is going to be important when we as a people of the this ecosystem need to work out. And we will work on this. We will need to speak about it. We need to understand this whole into the depth, and at the same time how this no the scope which is there in front of us can be benefited in the larger context, who basically come out of the NEP, and then the who does not have even a flavor of NEP, when the person is trying to live his life with the his own style. So I think looking into those, it is essential that we understand this into the better context. I think because this is a time where just after the lunch we are speaking together. So I really don't want the discussion to be only monotonous and from only one particular way I'm speaking, you all are listening. So I think after this briefing about the challenges and the opportunities in front of us as a people to consider this as a challenge in front, and the solutions which are available in front, I think I will take a gap here. I will just try to take a pause of some 10 minutes. If based on what I spoke now, if some of you have any particular questions to speak about, you want to learn or understand based on what we discuss now, then I'm here to answer, or otherwise we'll take a 10 minutes break. And then I will come back again and speak about the National Innovation Foundation, India, which is one of the R&D institution of the country, wherein what the education mechanism and the system in place, at the same time R&D ecosystem of the country, how the bridging these two important, I would say the pillars of the country that we are trying to do from our location. I will speak about the various innovations which we have scouted, which through which we have done the value addition, and of course various R&D institutions as well as the higher education institutions have also been part of our system, wherein many of such people have helped us to scale up the innovations which have been scouted, which have been worked out, identified from the different part of the country. And today, all those institutions, all those people have not only helped to a certain level, but have changed the scenario of that, not only that particular person, but the whole technology. And it has helped to larger context. So I think I will take a pause of 10 minutes if you have questions. Otherwise, we'll take a 10 minutes break, and I will come back with the PowerPoint presentation in which I will be elaborately speaking about what we have been doing in NIF India, and how the people like you can become solutions to all those problems when it comes to the societal contribution, especially those who have never got a chance to work with higher education up in the system. So I think this is where I wanted to speak about. So I think I will take a pause, and if you have any questions or doubt, I am happy to answer here, or otherwise after 10 minutes of break, we will get back to the presentation. If anyone has a question, please ask, or otherwise we'll take a 5 minutes gap and then come back.
So participant, anyone question, please raise your hand. So no any questions, sir. Statical tea break.
Okay, so we'll take a 10 minutes break and we'll come back with the presentation.
Yes.
So it's 3 hours and 12 minutes. So we'll come back at 3 hours and 22 minutes.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Mhm. Good evening. Welcome back. Am I audible and can you see my presentation?
Yes, sir, you are audible.
So, shall we start now?
Yes, sir, you.
Right. Okay.
Yes.
Thank you. So, I think in the first half, I was trying to tell you about what are all the challenges and no, in front of all of us, especially when it comes to the implementation of new education policy. As an important I would say the part of the ecosystem wherein all the teachers as well as the professors, academicians are going to play a significant role based on the new education framework, and we all have to ensure that how best we all can actually handle the new education policy. At the same time, the end user or the students who are going to come out of this NEP 2020 will be more robust as well as the more kind of an equipped people, those who can take those challenges and try to solve the problems, get themselves to be part of the bigger ecosystem wherein the contribution, the work by all these new generation is going to help to enhance their individual growth at the same time at the outcome as a national growth as well. Now, in speaking about all this, what I'm trying to give the presentation for next 45 minutes or so is about giving you the idea about what the National Innovation Foundation India has been doing for so many years. And as I said, like this is an R&D institution wherein we, in the first level, we try to help the society. We try to identify the innovators, those who are especially the grassroots innovators, and how these higher education institutions are helping to rebuild those innovations and innovators to and level where these innovations and innovators becomes and motivations to rest of the society. And that is what we have been trying our best at the National Innovation Foundation. So to give you the idea, what is the basic mission and vision of our institution, then I think when we look at the country like India, which has so much of diversity in terms of the languages, in terms of the dialects, and in terms of the various other aspects, at the same time, we do have a very good strength of being an outstanding traditional knowledge holders because I think our generation, those who are listening to me, they are very good examples of listening to our grandparents, listening to our parents with various outstanding traditional system in place. I think many of us have had a good example in our own home that they are not something like what we consider as an very verified or timely tested kind of or certified kind of an traditional knowledge, but those knowledge has helped us to in many ways in terms of the curing our certain amount of problems, daily problems, in terms of the curing our diseases, in terms of understanding the nature to the better extent. I think that is where, when we consider India as one of the best kind of a country wherein we are full of traditional knowledge, resources. So I think what National Innovation Foundation is trying to do is to basically this innovation foundation is an initiative to strengthen the grassroots level technological innovation because those innovations which are being scouted, intervention of science and technology becomes an important to enhance the skill, enhance the outcome of those innovations to a larger extent. And we are also trying our level best to hold this outstanding traditional knowledge and give them sufficient sufficient amount of recognitions based on the verified and the well-tested data based on the work that we receive. So NIF basically do the scouting, support, and spawns the grassroots innovations developed by the individuals as well as the local communities, especially in any technological field, which actually help in human survival without any help from the formal sector. So it is all comes is the informal sector. It also tries to ensure that such innovation diffuse widely through the commercial or non-commercial channels for generating, let us say for generating the material or non-material incentives to that particular innovator or to that community, and other is involved in the value chain when it comes to the commerce part of it. So, in a nutshell, when we talk about the vision, it's to make India innovative and adding the values to the India's outstanding traditional knowledge base. This is what the vision that we look forward, and our mission is to help India become an inventive and the creative and become a global leader in the sustainable technologies without social and economical handicap affecting the evolution and diffusion of the green grassroots level innovations. So the innovations which we have been trying to scout, trying to handhold, all those innovations are basically the green grassroots innovations, which actually ensures the Mother Earth in the better context. It does not get harmed. All our innovations are helping for the what you call it is for the green economy, for the green earth. So all such innovations are our prime focus. We don't indulge into the other kind of innovations without looking at the other aspect of the innovation mechanism. So we at the NIF, what we basically do is to first scout all such innovations, all such innovators across the country with the help of our scouts being placed all around. We do have 4 regional centers. We have one in the Srinagar University. We do have another office in Dehradun, and then third one is in Guwahati, and the fourth one is in Bhubaneswar. If you look at the strategical location of our regional offices, we try to help. We try to give the scope to such people. Those are basically people. Those are unreached people. Those we have never come to the forefront. They have never got a chance to be in the mainstream. So basically, our scout walk through, go to their places, go to their field, try to see what innovations they have been doing, meet them, try to understand those innovations, scout it, document it, and of course, once we document it, it becomes essential for all of us to maintain those database, and we have been doing that database management. So I think what is here to underline in terms of the kind of institutions that I am addressing, and you all are part of that, is to basically you all can help us in doing this scouting documentation for the original innovations, because over a year we have been able to collect or get the scouting of innovations more than 10 to 20,000 such innovations. But every innovation doesn't stands up to the independent, original, as well as the class 1 kind of an innovations, because those innovations either are the modernized or a bit of a modified version of the innovations that have already been in place, already been in the market, already been in the system or the social context. So those innovations we don't consider to take it forward, though they are part of our documentation processes. So this is where I consider when it comes to the based on the new NEP, I think this is something that out of box thinking comes into the picture, and all that is going to be possible when the higher education institutions look forward to go out of box thinking and help give them a chance to those people to understand the society in the better context, do that scouting people energies and work out and get those innovations and innovators based on the lot of work that one can plan in. Now, once we do that, once we document that, we keep it into the database, And National Innovation Foundation is also authorized institution by the government of India, which keeps the register of and all such grassroots innovations being scouted through our system. And therein, I must emphasize here, very much ahead of the new education policy, we have been taking help of the higher education institutions, where depending on the area of focus that they have been working on, like for example, many of our engineering institutions, many of our agriculture institutions are being connected with us, and they do help us based on their area of specialization. They go to the people, they scout into the society, try to bring to our notice, try to bring to our knowledge, and then we try to take that innovations, if at all it stands to the no original, stands to the contributions for the social benefit. So once it comes to us, we do the lot of what we call as a prior art search. When we do the prior art search, one can say that more than 50 to 60% of the innovations get shortlisted or get dropped down at that level, because this prior art search help us to understand the originality of the innovation, the worth of this innovation, the value addition is something that we need to look into. So original and the very concrete innovations and innovators that we take to the next level, which is, we call it as a value addition research development program. Because once such innovations are being identified, what we need to work out is, once the innovation is original, once the innovation is unique in nature, then we at our own institution level try to do the value addition based on the resources that we already have with us. As I said, in my institution, you will see my scientist is also a mechanical engineer. My scientist is also civil engineer. My scientist is also biotechnologist. My scientist is an agriculture scientist. So in a way, in a nutshell, all multidisciplinary approach is already in my institutions, wherein one aspect of the innovation or innovator is being looked into, but at the same time, other aspects and parameters are also being considered equally. So that value addition also becomes an important for us, for all of us. And right now, what we have with us is the Fab Lab, which is called the Fabrication Laboratory. When we receive the innovation in terms of the engineering fraternity, we do realize and we do understand that these innovations really needs a good hand holding. So when I say it's a good hand holding, is the kind of crude innovation that we receive based on the technological intervention, we try to bring that innovations to a level which is which can be demonstrable, which can be taken to the people, wherein innovation addition of this value addition help us to upscale that innovation in terms of the cost cutting, in terms of the productivity, in terms of the human resources. So we look at all those aspects and then do the value addition. And of course, once that value addition really stands up to a level which we consider that, which has the potential to further carry out and take it to the level what I think by and large, are you aware or not? I'm not sure. It's called the TRL, which is a technology readiness index or level, technology readiness level, which is called a TRL. So when we receive the innovations which stands up to a TRL 1 or 2, but because of the intervention from our own level in terms of the fabrication, in terms of the value addition and all, we try to bring it to the TRL 3 or 4. And once we reach to the TRL level 4, and then we do a large amount of work on it, we try to get the interception of higher educational institutions in terms of the IITs, ICER, NITs, and then those TRL 4 or 5, we try to upscale it further to a level TRL 8, or sometimes it is up to the TRL level 9, because of the potential that innovation has. And once it reaches to the TRL level 4, it is been largely considered that it falls under the intellectual property management aspect also, because Such innovations need to be documented and to be protected under the intellectual property. So we at our in-house, what we do is that we also ensure the intellectual properties are being maintained for on the name of that innovators and that innovation. So what basically we try to do is to ensure that intellectual property remains with the original discoverer or the innovator, because we believe that those innovators, when we say it's a grassroots innovator, the definition of grassroots innovator for us lies as such that the innovator who does not have any professional degree with him, the science, in terms of the technology, or for that matter, in terms of the any graduation or post-graduation. So basically, an innovator who hardly had a chance to be part and parcel of the scientific work. So the person who is either illiterate, or the person who has had got any chance to work on that. And then that is where what we basically do is to bring such innovations. We do protect, we try to protect this intellectual property. We, on behalf of the innovator, we file that patent for on his name. We also try to do a lot of other kind of patenting in terms of the trademark application, in terms of the design. So all kind of protections that we try our level best, and we have been doing that for the years together. And once that intellectual property is being protected, what we do is consider that innovation which has reached to the TR level 8 or up to the level of 9, then such innovations really becomes an important for us to take it to the next level. When we consider it is to the next level, we consider it is to do the incubation. So such innovations we do incubate at our level. We have a Section 8 company called as a NEP. Under that, such innovations and innovators have been incubated. We try to, if that particular innovator has a potential, we support them for the becoming an entrepreneur. If not, we try to find out some entrepreneurs for their innovations, and we try to ensure that his or her innovation remains of a great value to the society, and try to work out for the business development. Right now, we do not have much facilities in house, but we are also trying and looking forward that a micro kind of an micro manufacturing facilities to be opened up. Now, it is a dream project for us, but at this moment, based on the value addition and R&D work that we do at in-house, we try to grow to the MSCP, that is micro scale industries, try to look into the market survey, try to see to what extent that innovations are standing up, to what level that it has a visibility in the market. So all that work that we carry out with the NEP, and if that comes out to be in a good kind of a potential, we help that innovator and innovations to manifold that and try to do the dissemination and social diffusion as well. So once that innovations reaches, then we do help them for the through the commercial sector. We do tie up with the private companies, those who can take those technologies, what we call as technology transfer. So we have been doing that, and we are trying our level best to do the change in his or her life to an extent which help us in the larger context. So I think in the context of the presentations that we are talking today, what is important that these are all the some important messages that you could take out and understand that you are also part of this bigger ecosystem when it comes to the new NEP framework, because we'll have to have a wider areas of understanding, wider areas of hand holding. And I think that is what is needed. And then, of course, when it comes to the information technology, we try to do it reaches to the national and international framework through our information technology management base. So we do lot of recognitions through our platform. So we are the one who recognize such people, recognize such innovations, and try to help them out. So if at all I have to speak today, then we do have innovations which is large in number. So today, if we look at then this documentation and scouting of such innovations is large in number, nearly 3,25,000 such technological ideas and innovations are kept in the public domain, and which you can very easily access through our website. And these are called as a public knowledge system, which we PKD, public knowledge domain. So these innovations that are available for anyone and everyone, because there is no substantial kind of an what you call the intellectuals property holding there, because we consider these are all the common practices which are helping. But I must tell you that out of these 3,25,000 innovations that we have in our database, there are large innovations still today has not been explored to an extent, especially in the context of similar geographical conditions, similar agroclimatic conditions. So there is a large amount of scope in this 3.25 lakh innovations that one has to actually work on, one has to actually find it out. Because when we look at these innovations at the global level, there are a lot of findings that one could actually look into and can be made use to a larger society. But that part aside, today till last 25 years of our existence, I must mention here that as of today, nearly 1,200 innovations and innovators has been recognized under the category of grassroots innovators or the student innovators. So nearly 1,200 innovators have been recognized by National Innovation Foundation for their original work, for their original innovation and original kind of an work that they have carried out. Today, I must say that nearly 2,000 plus technologies are supported in the various form. We are the one who have first handholded such innovations and have been trying to help them out. Today, we have patented about 1,400 such innovations, filed the patent for them, out of which nearly 550 such patents have been granted. But I must tell you, these patents, granted patents, are on the name of those innovators for which NIF has been trying to do a lot of work with them, right from the scouting to the business development strategies. So we have been doing all that. Today, we already have the trademark application, 11 of which nearly 7 are being granted. In terms of the design registration also, we have filed 24 design registration, of which nearly 20 are granted. So I think this is something which is a substantial work that NIF has carried out, and wherein the intervention of S&T plays a significant role. And the people like you also have played a very significant role in terms of taking those innovations to the next level. Now, PPB-FRA stands for Plant Protection, Variety and the Farmers' Right Act, under which we filed about 81 different varieties and the formulations, and of which are nearly 29 such innovation technologies have been granted by the Government of India. And we have been working on it so that we can it be commercialized. And some of these are also been commercialized from our side. So as of today, with the Micro Venture Innovation Fund, we have supported nearly 238 projects because of the great support that we received from NABARD, as well as the other SIDBI kind of banks, and we tried our level best. So today, if I had to say that more than 120 such cases of technology licensing has happened, and today we have about 22 startups registered, which are the grassroots innovators and those who have been nurtured by us to a great extent. So I think these are all the some of the pictures that you could see, that these are all the most recent that you could see. These are all the most recent activities that is on the 11th National Grassroots Innovation Outstanding Traditional Knowledge Awards that you could see, that these awards are being directly given by the Honorable President of the country. And this program we every year try to conduct in the Rashtrapati Bhavan. And all such innovations and innovators have been recognized by such people to an extent. So you can also see that such kind of an exhibition being placed in the Rashtrapati Bhavan. You could see such innovation exhibition is placed for the people in the country. Honorable President, various SNT ministers and various people do take the visit to such exhibitions. You could see here these grassroots innovators directly get an opportunity to interact with the Honorable President of the President House, who get an opportunity to interact, speak about their innovations, understands that what are all the contributions these small but very significant contributions these people have been doing. It's not only that, but when we do such kind of programs in the Rashtrapati Bhavan, we also look into the because ultimately such innovations has to be taken up to the market, need to go into the various field. So we do have various roundtable discussions and meetings based on the area of focus we want that to happen. And all those experts, when they come to the roundtable discussion, they come, they discuss, we come up with the findings, and all those findings that we share with the Honorable President. And this is one of some of the pictures that whatever the roundtable discussion has come up with, we share with the Honorable President as and when we go. So these are all the some of the case studies which I wanted to emphasize and speak to you. This is one of the example of an Arunachalam Muruganantham, who is a person who has understood the problem of his wife for using not having the sanitary napkins, because that time it was a quite costly affair and he was unable to meet those expenses. So he himself has done an innovation and thought of generating or trying to have a sanitary napkin, and he developed a sanitary napkin machine. And I think you must have seen the film called as a Padman. Then those who remember this particular film, this innovation is the National Innovation Foundation's particular innovation. And this Arunachalam Muruganantham has been showcased there, who actually receives the various awards. And with this particular sanitary napkin machine, which he has innovated or innovated by himself and his team, today gives the direct employment to about 25,000 people, and nearly 13 million women use such napkin which have been made by his machines. So this kind of impact that we have been trying to do in the society. Now, there is another case of Mr. C.H. Mallesham, who actually saw the problem of his own mother when there is a asu making machine which was used to be mechanical for making the saris. And during making these saris, there is a huge amount of drudgery used to happen, which he has realized, found his problems, and he tried to solve the problem of the mother. And this MC Mallesham, which he made the asu making machine, which actually that machine has started giving the employment for about 18,000 families. And in Telugu, the Mallesham is the another film which has been made on his name. So these are all the unique kind of findings that you could see. And these are some of our grassroots innovators who also received the Padma awardees. And in 2023, what you see, the C.V. Raju and Sri Moa Subong, these are the two innovators who are the first scouted by the National Innovation Foundation, has received the fourth largest civilian award of our country by the Honorable President. So such kind of contribution is been put forth by the Grassroots Innovation Foundation, by the National Innovation Foundation. So such kind of impact we have been trying to do in the society, and we feel very proud because it's a multidisciplinary approach, multidisciplinary work that we have been carried out. These are all some of the Padma awardees that you could see here. Abdul Kader Nadakiten, who is another person who received the Padma in 2022, who devised a separate tamarind seed plugging blade manufacturing machine, who helped to reduce a lot of drudgery, especially in terms of the saving a lot of women drudgery in terms of the working. Here is another person, is the Sundaram Verma, who again received the Padma Award in 2021, who has been a great environmentalist, innovative green grassroots plantation technique he has developed, for which he has also received the Padma. Then Sri Vallabhbhai Murvania, who is another farmer who improved the carrot variety. So such kind of people have been scouted first by the National Innovation Foundation and had tried to handhold such people with the help of the intervention of science and technology and with the help of people. These are all some of the awardees like Udap Kumar Bharali, who is another bamboo splitting machine who has developed, who also received at the same time. Jagdish Prasad, he is another kind of an farmer who received the Padma Award in 2019 for the bringing a new cauliflower variety. Now, our National Innovation Foundation does not only stop by scouting and recognizing such kind of innovators or innovations, but we also try to ensure that they also stand up to the Bureau of Indian Standards. So we also ensures that what we call it as a standards are to be maintained. So one of these two BIS has been approved in the recently for the cooling cabinet made clay by the Mansukh Bhai Prajapati. So these are all some of the important aspects that we try to ensure when it comes to the grassroots innovation and grassroots innovators. So by and large, if we look at the intervention of NIF to the global level, then we reach to more than 8 countries, more than 60 cities, and more than 250 retail outlets through our innovator and innovations that has reached to the people. This is an example of a Metricool brand. You must have come across this. So Metricool is one of the innovator which we have initially scouted and hand-holded to a large extent. And these are all some of the innovations which are being done by school-going children. And you could see here the one of the technology which is the adjustable walker has been transferred to a well-known company who works in the orthopedic machines and that named as a Visco. So some of such technologies have been invented or generated by the grassroots innovators have also been considered. In fact, Subhash Ola, who worked for the, who basically who worked for the boiler, who made use of the steam which is there in a better context, minimizing the fuel, minimizing a lot of resources. So this Subhash Ola has also played a significant role. And when the Amazon Sambhav Entrepreneurship Challenge was being declared, he became a winner as a startup of the year, who is also one of the grassroots innovators scouted by NIF and handholded by NIF. So then you see this cow dung. I think by and large, many of you must have seen that cow dung pods and idols are now coming into the market for the social diffusion purposes. So all those innovators are in the beginning. At the first level, National Innovation Foundation has handholded them with the help of intervention of S&T. So I think here in bringing that innovation to a standard has largely been done through the intervention of higher education institutions. So I think why I have tried to speak this particular aspect with all of you is to give you the idea that these kind of innovations need to bring to the to certain amount of standards. And to bring to that standard, what is important is our higher education system plays a significant role, and we try to do that. And you could see that such kind of innovations are largely been, recognized under the various programs, under the various schemes of NIF, and we have been trying that. This is one of the food processing machine that you could see here. There is a simple rickshaw puller. Sorry, his name is Dharamveer from Haryana, who was a simple man, but he actually worked on the food processing machine which he generated when we scouted. This is how his machine was looking at. But then we intervened in his innovation. We helped him. And today we find that this particular simple rickshaw puller man has now generated the employment for more than 5,000 people. And this kind of food processing machines are also been taken up by the various people, in fact, not in India, but abroad as well. So such kind of interventions by the NIF is already in place, and we have been trying for it. So these examples give you the certain amount of ideas about the grassroots innovation. In fact, when I say we are also the part of traditional knowledge, outstanding traditional knowledge holders of our Indian tradition. So this is one of the formulation that you could see. This is the herbal formulation for treatment of cataract by the sodium selenite induced cataract model. In this, you could see that if you could diagnose having a cataract, but if you could identify at the early stage, then certain amount of precautions by using it with a small dose of 3 drops, per day for the 15 days, then such cataract can, without any kind of an operations, can be removed and can, get away for this. So such kind of this is right now the human trials are also on, and we look forward that this particular technology will also be in the market in a very soon or in a very short time. So all the innovations and the technological innovations that has been scouted by us, documented by us, has been commercialized by us, has also been utilized in the various correctional houses or correctional homes in the various states. So these are all some of the examples from Haryana, West Bengal, UP. All those machines are being placed in the correctional homes, which we call it as a jail, and to generate the livelihood of the people or the victims, those the criminals, those are in the correctional homes. So such kind of work that you could see, and this is one of the best variety of an apple, which we always consider apple is the high altitude grown fruit. But this is one of the HRMN99 variety of an apple, which has been, I would say found out or worked out or innovated by one of our innovator from Himachal Pradesh. And this particular variety has been time tested, has been worked out, and now you see such apples does not limit only to the high altitude, but now it has been grown in Uttarakhand, Manipur, Gujarat, in Bihar also. Here you also could see the Giriraj Singh, who is the honorable minister. He has also cultivated such kind of apples in his farm, which has helped to a large extent. So such kind of interventions have also been possible by the help of the NIF. So these are all some of the products based on the intervention of the technologies and for the common people. So some of our innovations have also been referred by the Honorable Prime Ministers in his Man Ki Baat. And these are all some of our innovators that you could see that has been worked out, have been identified. This is one of the innovations that you could see. We work for the school-going children, and these are all the Manak awards that we gave to the people. And these innovations are also been in the framework. So all such innovations, when it needs to bring to the higher up to the scale and reach to the larger section of society, it is very much essential that we need to have the multidisciplinary approach, understanding the strength and various benefits of the higher educations and the people around. And we try, and this is, as I was mentioning, 3.25 lakh innovations which are available in our portal, which was been launched in the 2021 by Honorable Minister that time, Dr. Harshvardhan. Some of our technologies are being transferred to the very well-known brands like John Deere. So you could see some of these technologies are also there. In fact, there are a lot of countries who has realized the potential of National Innovation Foundation, and these people have started advocating about similar kind of a grassroots innovations to be there in their own countries as well. This is one of the article that you could see here, that innovation as a force for equity, wherein it very categorically mentions that grassroots technological innovation and outstanding traditional knowledge, this is what India has in the year 2000 and started. And what it says is that this foundation understands that such innovation takes the place among those who are knowledge rich but resource poor. And its first goal is to identify this work where it is taking place. So I think this kind of innovations and in National Innovation Foundation has also been advocated by the many of the national or international people understanding the potential of such people. And I think this is something which becomes important for all of us to realize and understand. So these are all some of the examples which I have focused here, gave you the idea that this is something that we need to understand in the larger context. So I think this is something that we wanted to share with you, because this National Innovation Foundation is also trying to realize the dream, realize the importance of the people, and trying to work out in the best possible way. So I think this is what I just wanted to speak to all of you on the occasion of NEP orientation and sensitization, which has been carried out by Malviya Mission Teachers Training Center. I think there are a lot of many important aspects that as an higher education institutions that we carry forward and take the message of new education. These are all some of the common findings that we need to find out, work out, and with this, we can reach to the larger section of the society. With this, I think I will stop here. But if you have any questions and doubt, I'm here to answer you. Thank you so much. I could see some of the questions which are coming here. Like, what kind of innovation does NIF expect from the people with the philosophy background and can help? The second question comes is, sir, how can NIF help the teachers? Okay, I think what is important here is, because teacher, when it comes to the teacher will have some certain amount of domain to work with. When it comes to the science or comes to the technology, then I think the expertise of such teachers can to an extent, because when we scout such kind of an innovations at the large level, there is a good amount of intervention is possible by the experts. And of course, teacher does not limits only to the teaching, but he or she also has a good amount of knowledge, resources in terms of the subject matter expert. And I think those kind of expertise can be used. And when it comes to the philosophical background, what is important, because it's not only science and technology is needed all the time, but philosophy speaks about the various social context. I think understanding, studying about those ecosystem, it also becomes important, and what kind of intervention that people has to do can also be largely covered by such kind of a philosophy teachers altogether. I think these are all some of the answers to your questions that you mentioned in your chat box. Thank you, everyone. If there is any question, I am here to answer. Design registration in IPR, why not considered for accreditation? See, I think what is important here, accreditation, when you want institutions to be recognized for certain, because when it comes to the design kind of an aspect, we accreditation is perhaps does not fall under the domain of NIF. But certainly the institutions which work for the design also need an accreditation, and I think UGC have been trying for it. These institutions are also trying to get those accreditations from the various places. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, sir, for sparing your valuable time in your busy schedule and delivering a talk to this crowd of around 140 participants registered for this NEP sensitization program. And I hope that in future also your association will be there with us with this UGC Malviya Mission Teachers Training Program. Sir. Thank you. Thanks a lot.
Namaskar. Thank you so much. Have a nice day.
Okay.
Namaskar.
So participants, tomorrow at 2:30 we will join. Friday again holiday is there. Saturday the course will be there, and also on Sunday the course will be there. So I now request Amol Madan to end the meeting.